This is SuperZOMGBBQ and I'm here with a guide of how to record and stream on OBS or Open Broadcaster software. Now OBS is what most supercarders will use to stream and broadcast over the internet, as well as recording videos, but there is another application called XSplit, and there's a few other ones as well. Some people with PCs that aren't that fast or haven't got great streaming abilities use Reflector as well, which reflects literally the screen on your iPhone, which I will show you in a later video. But literally this is designed to show you how to get the basics started up. Now I can't show you things like how to get a chat box sorted, because that is a completely different guide, which will be linked into the description below, which is something called Nightbot. You need to get that. If you wanted the basic of SuperCard videos, however, it is literally as simple as this. You literally get yourself a monitor capture, which you use by pressing right click, add, and monitor capture, and it will give you the options to use monitor capture, which you will call it monitor capture 2. You can even take off the mouse cursor if you want. You can increase the gamma. You can select a certain region of the screen to look at. You can literally have it do anything you want it to, and that sub-region is really useful if you're using an app like Reflector. But let's keep it really simple for now. This is literally a screen, this is BlueStacks, and this is SuperCard that's running in the background, which you can see here. Okay, so very simply, you want to first of all make sure the basics are set up, and that is, you want to make sure that you've got your audio and you have your microphone sorted. So these little buttons here, if those are grayed out, that means or something's wrong with your audio. And you can always check this by literally clicking on your speakers box or going to your system settings, and you can go to your playback devices, and you've got all the individual different playback devices here. Make sure you've got the ones that you want to use as your default device, especially if you've got headphones available and you turn those on, whether you want those to be the default device. Make sure your recording's all set up. Make sure that your microphone is plugged in. Now I personally have not only the microphone for the webcam, but I also have my Yeti here, which I'll show you in a second. But this is just being basic. You can literally get yourself a very simple headset and microphone and be able to stream SuperCard in minutes. And this is the first and basic way of showing you how to get the very straightforward basics in place so you can start streaming immediately or start recording immediately. Now the first thing I'd advise you to do is look up on the link I've put in the description for a set of drivers or codecs called FLV. F.FLVs are video file formats that will that anything you record, so what I'm recording right now, will be taken outside of OBS and plonked into my videos file. Obviously you want to make sure you have those first, because if you can record it, you probably want to watch it as well. And if you don't want to watch it, then you're not going to know if your quality of everything's good. You might not know if the video's been done right, and that just is embarrassing. Not everyone has video recording software and editing software to cut and paste things out. So make sure you have those done first, because if you've got a Windows Media Player, you want to make sure you've got those. Now obviously if you've got a Mac, it's a little bit different, and you may want to have a look at a couple of other guides as well, but that's the basics of getting around it for OBS. So let's get to settings. So first of all, you want to make sure your general settings are what you'd expect. So languages, encoding. You want to make sure that you are putting the video in a quality and an audio quality which your PC can handle, because if you've got the audio quality or the quality in something that you can't handle, then you may end up doing videos that actually take up most of your CPU or your processor speed, or your RAMs, basically your RAM usage, which is going to make it really difficult for you to stream well, and you're going to get people complaining. Give you an example. There's a guy called there's a couple other guys who stream regularly whose quality isn't great. They changed it and the quality ended up being a hell of a lot better. Broadcast settings, literally you've got all the details here. Now obviously you shouldn't be seeing these details here, but basically all these are, this is the information that explains about where you're streaming to and where it's being picked up. So basically you have the videos and the YouTube details here in broadcast settings. Here it tells you where your videos, when they're finalized, are going to be done. And also it has your stream key here, which you need. Now, never show anyone your stream key if you're doing it through Twitch or through YouTube. You get that by signing into Twitch and logging in, and obviously make sure you got an account on Twitch before you do any of this, because you can't stream unless you've got an account on YouTube or an account on Twitch. If you're purely to setting this up just for broadcasting into a video and then you're sticking up on YouTube, then don't worry about the stream key at all. You don't need that. And obviously you can choose the individual things for the streaming anywhere. So you can have Twitch, YouTube, SuperZomGBBQ, anything you choose. This bit here, FMS URL, is quite important, especially if you're in the UK, because I've had a couple of times where I can't actually connect to the London server, which is in England, UK. You can also have problems in America where there's certain servers that don't work. If it's saying it can't log into or connect to the server, always try another server that's nearby to you. For example, I've got Paris, France, and I have no problems at all. I go to video and it tells you what it's actually recording with. So for example, I've got an AMD Radeon R9 200 and whatever base resolution you've got, and you can use that to your advantage with regards to setting up a wallpaper or whatnot. You can also downscale as well if you want to. You can check your audio. This part's important, especially if you are constantly unplugging and replugging back in things like microphones and whatnot. My Yeti, sometimes it gets unrecognized. So for example, this will go to none, and then I have it disabled, and then I actually have to go back onto this setting to reinitialize it. And that's what happens when you have down the bottom here, the microphone or the speaker go grey. Hotkeys you can actually set to a go away position, which means that if, let's say, your mum or dad comes in, or your girlfriend, boyfriend, and you don't want them to see what you're streaming, shame on you, or let's say you want to have a personal conversation, you can actually have a push key which sets everything to mute, or sets everything to a certain setting, and you can actually even go to a different scene which has a video on it, which helps. Obviously you got advanced settings as well. I would personally check to make sure that everything that you're doing is something that you are allowed to do, because obviously what you don't want to do is set yourself up and then basically end up completely killing your computer or doing something that's going to basically hurt your PC or your laptop. Now you can literally stream, as I said, off PC and laptop with this. What we're going to first of all do is get BlueStacks onto here. Now the way you do that, or you can do Reflector as well, is literally by pressing right click, add, and you can either make a global source, which would be all the time would be let's say BlueStacks on any of these scenes. Me personally, I prefer just to copy across scenes and just start fresh from there, because usually I use the same things in each scene. For example, I use a chat box for my Nightbot, which again, details in the description below, in any of my streams. So I'd want the same source, the same details, not have to reset it all up again, so I just copy it across. But you can make global sources for those things as well, which makes it very, very, very easy to set up. And all you have to do is you literally go to Game Capture, press OK, and then you can literally find here, Application, BlueStacks App Player. Now, for example, if you want to go to Twitter, you can go here. You can actually set up to record Firefox. You can set it up to record say Steam or any other games you choose. But I'm going to choose BlueStacks. I'm going to take off the capture mouse cursor, and it's going to show up with BlueStacks. And there's none of this really weird like blue stuff around the end. It actually makes it a lot cleaner, which makes it better for your people who are watching you, and there's no craziness with regards to borders and whatnot. And it also makes it easier to hide stuff you don't want people to see as well, which, for example, I hide credits, I hide the bottom part which has the Android section. So yeah, basically that's what you would do there if you're using BlueStacks. If you're using Reflector, sometimes it doesn't work. So for Reflector, what I do is I do a monitor capture. And what I do is I have the monitor capture here. It will show up with your reflector screen. Let's just say this kind of area over here, which I'm just just kind of going across now here. What I would do is I would go to monitor capture 2, sub-region, and then select region. And what this does is it creates an area that I can then reduce and increase. So if we go to here, let's just say my iPhone screen is this big. I've just kind of screwed that up, I apologize. So let's say it's my iPhone or iPad screen is this big. That's what I want to capture. I press OK, and it will capture that part of the screen. Okay, so that part of the screen will always be captured by that by that monitor capture source at the bottom. Obviously, we don't need that, so we're going to remove it. But I will show you in a later episode how you use Reflector to work out basically your iPad or your iPhone 6. Any iPhone can actually be used as long as it has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, basically. Right, so how you add images. Now, one thing to make very, very, very clear to you is that you should always know that your sources are very important. For example, if I add BlueStacks again, pardon me, go and go game capture, you can name it anything you want and go to BlueStacks. If I put BlueStacks down the bottom, you can't see it because it's actually hidden underneath this monitor capture here. So make sure that it is where you want it to be. Now, going to more advanced things where you have images which have actually got pre-selected slots in them, which are what we call PNGs, where you've actually cut out part of it, kind of like you would do with like scissors and paper. You actually, with this, it allows you to have it up even though you can actually have that just behind that, so you can create an image that maybe the image that you have, your background, is actually in front of this but selectively showing one part of it, when it actually in reality it's actually cut out a part for you, so you can actually have the part of BlueStacks you want in the middle showing you where it is. I hope this is all clear. Obviously that's that's effectively what I'm trying to get across. So we take off game capture again, and what we're going to do is actually add a background image. Now, obviously, in fact, no, actually, before I go through background images, I'm actually going to show you how to, not show you, but tell you how to start to BlueStacks. First of all, you have to download BlueStacks as an app. You have to make sure you download the right version. And when you're downloading OBS, which are the details I put in the description below as well, make sure you're downloading the right version. If you download the wrong version, because you may download a Mac version, you may download an x64 version, which is obviously the wrong version for yourself, like a 64-bit, or a 32-bit version. When you've got 64-bit, you may end up causing yourself problems, and the same goes for OBS, so make sure you are putting in the right details. Also, on the official OBS website, there are details of additional codecs that you can put in as well, which will allow you to do things like put videos in your as your background, or to have certain audio sections played, even also have access to things like follower notifications, which obviously is always good. And you can have little custom music put on there as well, so it's always worth looking at those as additional plugins as well, and additional bits and pieces for your streams. But again, we're sticking to basics. So if we're sticking to basics, what you want to be having is a couple of additional bits of software, which I would recommend having Photoshop. Now, I use Photoshop CS6, 64-bit, but you can use anything. Technically, you can use Microsoft Paint to create the image. Now, what I would do is I would go to your settings, go on to full screen mode, and then press the print screen button or the screen capture button on your keyboard. Go into Adobe Photoshop or whatever you've got. I'll show you how I do it in Adobe Photoshop. And you go press new, and it will literally have whatever your width and height of your item is you want to copy. You go into that, you press paste, or you can literally just leave it as it is, and then you can just create your new SuperCard background. We have the next option, which is to basically add an image. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a random image, and I can call it whatever I want to, and I'm going to add a random funky image. Now, you can't see anything else here, because if you could, then obviously you'd be able to see what I was doing, but obviously you can't. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this off, so you can see how I did it. So literally you have the image here, you go into images, and then you can change where the source of the image is by going into this browse section here. And you set it up. Now you can obviously download one off the internet. You can download yourself a stream format if you want to. You can edit it. Go ahead. I'm actually seriously considering making a base stream option, so you can actually download a base stream background for yourself, so you can just go stream whenever you want to. You can use it, edit it, do whatever the hell you want with it. It's completely down to you. I am considering doing that, and I may do that for the next video, which might help you guys out, especially when you're just starting off or just starting to record. All I'd say is give credit where it's due if you do decide to use it. So what we're then going to do is we are going to add a bit of text. So you can see here we can add a random bit of text. I'm just going to put text for the time being, and I would advise you to go on to DAF font and get yourself a couple of text formats. I'm going to use my WWE Raw, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in John Cena at Super Slam. There we go. And now you have John Cena at Super Slam in the middle of the screen. Now obviously I'm going to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. I'm going to put the color of the text as red. Okay. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger as well for you. How nice am I? And what we're now going to do is show you how to make that text scroll. So you got it here, and what we can do is we can just put on a 30 text scroll speed, and it goes as high or as fast as you want. I'll make it 100. I can make it 500. And you can make it literally however fast or slow you want. You can make it 1 if you want to. So it literally goes at snail's pace. You choose. You can also have outlines around it as well. You can also make it bold, italic, underlined, vertical if you want to. Your choice. Make it bigger, smaller, make it bigger. You choose. Just literally going to cancel it now. I'm going to remove that text. So there, yeah, this is the situation you have now, which is you have now text, you have your BlueStacks, and now you are going to get your background. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to move this down, and we're going to have my background in the background again. Now, what you now can do is start setting up things and have your SuperCard picture, your BlueStacks in the background, your SuperCard picture in the background before it, and you have your text. And literally, simple as that. You've got a background. You can start recording, start streaming with your stream key from Twitch, or start streaming on YouTube. You choose, or you can record and get things uploaded straight away onto YouTube and start gaming. What I would advise you to do next, however, is if you've got a webcam, people love looking at people and seeing a face, as I found out recently. What I'll do here is you add a video capture device, and you can do that by literally having a webcam or any video capture device such as a camera connected to your PC, as long as it has the functionality to do so. So I have a Logitech HD Pro webcam C920, very, very basic, on Elgato game capture. Now this can be used to actually stream games that are being using an Elgato. My advice would be don't do so, because the Elgato and OBS don't seem to like each other that much. I would use Elgato's in-game software or other software to do it. OBS doesn't seem to like it. So let's choose the Logitech HD Pro webcam, and I can choose a custom audio input device. Obviously I don't need to, because as you saw in the previous earlier part of the video, you will know that I've already set up the audio to come out of my Yeti, which I have here. But you can obviously have it, if you want to, come from the webcam. And what I'm going to do is you can set up your own custom resolution as well. You can flip the image vertically if you want stuff to be quite cool. You can also make the opacity much less, so people can't see you as easy. And then literally all you do is you press OK, and then you get to see me. And what I need to do here is come out, scroll it down a little bit, and there is my image. So I now have me going about a million miles an hour down the screens. Woo! Apologies if I've just made anyone sick, of course. So with that in mind, we have now got our SuperCard background. We've got BlueStacks involved. We also have our text, and we're going to now show you how to put it all together and obviously to get individual images on there as well. Now most people think you can only have one image on BlueStacks. Very easy to do. You just go to add another image. You can have an image slideshow if you want, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put let's go to custom cards. I can put any of these images here for my original cards that I set up. Let's go to my cards that I did, my custom cards I made a couple of months ago. And I'm going to literally put those here. So literally I can take these custom cards, put those there, and that could be my background if I wanted to. It's completely up to you guys. You choose what you want to have. But I can have that as my second image. And those second images can literally just be something for people to look at. So you can have those one either side. You can have one down here, one up here, and SuperCard in the middle. You choose what you want to do. It's all about being creative. Be as creative as you want. There is no norm. If you do stuff by the norm, be average, it's not going to help you. You're not actually going to get anywhere. You're just going to basically stagnate unless you've got something really interesting to say. It's very rare that you have the kind of charisma some of the bigger YouTubers have, who literally don't have to do anything but talk and be front facing with you to get viewers and subscribers. It's very hard to do that. So if you make your stream interesting and creative and do things that no one else has done before, people are more likely to subscribe to you and watch your content. Take Bad Lad Dad for an example. Bad Lad Dad has been doing this way less time than I have, I think. Now, he is awesome with video editing in terms of getting the cameras and everything else done. But the reason why he's been successful is the content he does with Ninja Boy is very, very creative. And it makes people want to watch him. Okay? Me, I've only just started doing this on a regular basis. I've not been doing this on a regular basis for a long time. But as I've become more creative and added more things to streams, I'm actually getting a lot more subscribers, a lot more viewers, and hopefully this helps you to understand how YouTubers and Twitch streamers work. I didn't get to 2,000 Twitch stream followers by literally just standing still and just being like, hey guys, let's just make a normal SuperCard background and have a picture of Bray Wyatt in the background and let's just get on with it. I had to evolve over time, and don't worry about being perfect at the start. It's all about evolving your style and getting to know who you are. I'm not actually sure why I've got my headphones on, because I don't actually need them on, but hey, they'll be off for the second video, I can assure you of that. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there because that is pretty much it, and I'm going to show you now how to add these sort of things all together. So literally, you can have your very simple SuperCard background, or I can put in, let's do the really simple stuff. So this is literally using images downloaded off the internet. So I can just go to image, image 2, browse, go to WrestleMania card, background, and I'm going to use this image here, which goes across the top. If I then click off that, I can then make this image, which is my WrestleMania Triple Pros that I made a while ago. I can order them, move them up, which means they are above this, so when they show up you can see they are above the image. I can then make sure my webcam is above it, move up, which makes sure my webcam above it, and then the last bit is to make sure that give me a second, that we have BlueStacks at the top, and then all we need to do now is literally put the image over the top, and bam, I technically now have a stream. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that in terms of getting something that people are going to watch you with, but that is literally, if you wanted to make it that simple, that's how I did it. I literally had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles background, no webcam, so this wasn't here. Literally, we had SuperCard, and I had me talking. That's it. Done. You can stream, you can record videos. It's all about evolving. Just do the basics, get people watching you, and then start evolving it. People get to know you, people get to like you. Don't be afraid to ask YouTubers and streamers to team up with you. It's always worth doing. For example, have a Skype call with a couple of YouTubers, for example. I'm just going to remove the webcam now for a second. In fact, no, I'm not going to remove the webcam for a second. It's always worth asking people to help you out with things. Even if you get a no, someone will say yes eventually. I had to ask loads of Twitch streamers and YouTubers to do stuff, and then actually eventually Biggie Dude got back to me and said, you know what, actually I do want to do a video. And I was like, wow, awesome. And we did that the night before freaking WrestleMania, so that was a pretty big steal. We almost got, I think, 140 people watching that. It was insane. That was very early on in my Twitch and YouTube career as such. The next video will be a little bit more complicated, and it's going to start talking about how you actually make the images, editing software and things like that, because they're important. If you've not got Windows Movie Maker, or I personally wouldn't use Windows Movie Maker if someone hit me in the head of a sledgehammer. You can use other types of editing software, and that allows you to make your content even better. It allows you to make mistakes. I made a couple of mistakes during this stream, and you may have noticed where I've literally had screens pop in and pop out. I've made mistakes. It happens. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. But if you get yourself some good video editing software, you can cut and paste things out, and it allows you then literally to have the basis of a SuperCard video. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. You now have a fully functioning stream, and let me show you something now. Literally, you have the ability to now just literally go into exhibition and start playing games. And I'm going to play Hussein now, just purely just to show you how it works. And here we go. So we have Hussein here. It's going to work absolutely perfectly. There's going to be no issues whatsoever. He's going to lose to me with his AJ Lee against my Alita. I'm going to use my... Oh, he's going to proc against me. What an ass. Now, hopefully I can get power. There we go. So Hussein loses to me. And literally, all I'm doing is what I've just shown you. And there we go. You've got SuperCard on your computer, and you are ready to go. Literally as simple as that. If you have any other questions, don't be afraid to hit me up on Twitter. Talk to me in Twitch streams. I'm more than happy to give you guys Twitch stream advice when we're actually streaming, which is usually every Thursday, and then once during the week at any other time. Details will be in my YouTube channel. Otherwise, this has been SuperZombGBBQ. I hope you have an amazing afternoon, amazing day. And if this has been helpful to you, please let me know, because that's the reason I did it, is to give you the very basis of how to set something up from the get-go. Most importantly, I hope this helps you, but if it hasn't, please tell me, give me some feedback. I'd love to know. And yeah, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to leave this now. Most importantly though, guys, this has to be helpful to you. So please, if this hasn't been helpful at all, if there's anything that I'm doing that is not, working, then please tell me, and I'll obviously edit and I'll release a new video. I think I've covered off everything to make a basic SuperCard video for you all. But if there's anything I've not covered off, which you'd like covered off in the next video, then please let me know, and I will do my next guide around that, for example, if enough people ask me. Also, something to advise you to have. This actually I've only just bought in, and I'm going to start using it. It's definitely worth getting yourself one of these little mini tripods. These will help you a lot in actually making good SuperCard videos with webcams. Literally, you can see it here. I'm not going to show you the brand because technically I'm not allowed to, but literally you got a little screw on here, and the webcam which I showed you, the model that I showed you in the when I shut the webcam earlier on, you can actually use this to connect to it, and actually then means you can take your SuperCarding wherever you want to, as long as you've got a USB slot and a recording software. So it's definitely worth having a look at that. Anyway, this has been SuperZombGBBQ. I hope you have an awesome day and awesome afternoon, and most importantly, Zoliv!